Video, what we're going to look at are what are the performance characteristics and how you should configure your products and how do we start understanding this. Okay, so the first and foremost, what I want you all to look at is the industry conditions report. So in your team member guide, you should be able to look at this. So basically what this is trying to tell you is a perceptual map, okay, based on your performance on your x-axis and the size of the product on y-axis. Here are the few things that you should look at. As we discussed earlier, there are 5 product segments that actually fulfill the needs of your consumer. And then this particular asterisk that you actually see, okay, on your perceptual map is the ideal position. This is what the customers want at the end of the year in terms of performance and size configurations. This changes from year to year, and you have to ensure that your product is as close to this as possible. As long as your product falls under the solid line, it will sell. But the demand starts decreasing as your product specs differ from the ideal position. Okay, once it falls outside the solid line, your sales will go down significantly. Or I can say your demand for your product, actual demand for your product goes down significantly, and you probably will not be able to sell that particular unit of product. Okay, so therefore you have to be very careful in configuring your products. So how do I know what my ideal position is? So for that, you need to pay attention to this drift rates. The drift rates are nothing but this is how your product changes from year on year and how they are going to change. The numbers that you see here are the center of these perceptual map circles, not the ideal position. So I do not want you to get confused. So this is what you want to know. This is performance increases by 0.7 and size decreases by 0.7. So this is what you want to write, okay, for each of the segments, okay? 0.7, okay, increases performance. Okay, so I'm going to put a plus here, okay? Okay, and a negative sign here because the size decreases by 0.7. This is for your traditional product. Now let's look at the low end. This is plus 0.05 and minus 0.5. So when you actually look at that, the performance increases by 0.5 and size decreases by 0.5. Okay, and this is a plus and this is a minus. Okay, now for high end, you see plus 0.9 and minus 0.9. So therefore, for high end, it's going to be 0.9 and 0.9. And this is a plus and this is a minus. Now for performance, okay, so the performance increases significantly while the size is lagging behind. You don't need to focus so much on size compared to performance. That's what it's saying. The consumer likes that a high performing product and they really don't care as much about size relatively compared to that of performance. So let's look at this, okay, plus 1 and 0.7. So performance, they want 1.0, okay, and 0.7 is what they want. This is plus, and this is minus. And now comes the size. This is exactly the opposite. They care more about the size rather than the performance of the product. So this is performance is 0.7 and size is 1.0. This is what the customer wants. Okay, so now we need to know the starting positions of each of these. So now that takes us to this. Okay, what do they want in round 0? If you actually look at this, end of round 0, they want 5 in performance and 15 in size. Okay, this is 5 and this is 15. Okay, so what does this mean? So basically, in round 1, I need 5.7 and so forth. Okay. This is plus. This is minus. I'm doing this on the wrong place. Okay, for traditional, this is 5. This is 15. Okay, they want 5 plus 0.7. Okay, by the end of the year, what they want for round two is 6.4 and so forth, as you see here. Okay, and the size, what they want is 15 minus 0.7. Okay, and do you see? This is what they want. Now you have the product configuration in terms of performance and size. As I told you, the age requirement does not change and mean time before failure does not change. So what you need to focus only on is mostly what's variable. Okay, the maximum price is $20 is what you can actually charge. Okay, and the minimum price, sorry, maximum price that you can actually charge is $30. The minimum price that you can actually charge is $20. Okay, so what do we want to do about this? Okay, is because you want to calculate these. Okay, that you remember, okay, these price margins reduce by 50 cents each round. So therefore, these are pretty standard. So this is the maximum price that I can actually charge in each round. Okay, this is the minimum price that I can actually charge in each round. Okay, so there's no point charging below minimum price. Okay, this is a range between which you can actually charge. So it kind of helps you understand this. Okay, and age is what you want is pretty close to 2. So now here you have the product demand or a parity demand that helps you forecast. You have the specs of the product in terms of performance and size and the maximum and the minimum price. And what you want here is age of 2.0. That means they like a product that's been in the market at least for a certain period of time. That helps them understand that the product is more reliable and not brand new, which is not tried and tested, right? They don't want a beta version of anything. So this is a tried and tested version. So you already know that this is not going to change. And the MTBF is mean time before failure, which is going to be between 14,000 and 19,000. So you can offer it anywhere in between. And one of the other things that you need to focus on is the configuration of MTBF is the least important thing for them. That is only 9% of importance. Okay, now let's look at the other products, your low end. Okay, the age performance requirement is 1.7 and 18.3. As you see here, 1.7 is what they have, and 18.3 is the requirement here. And as you see here, they want to increase in size and performance in terms of 0.5 and decrease in size in terms of 0.05, 0.5. And when you drag this, you have the required configuration. Okay, and the other thing to note is the price 15 and 25. This is the most important thing. So you got to be very careful as to how you price your product. Otherwise, your product may not sell. 25.0, and this is 15. Okay, this is for round 0. And now let's calculate for other years or other rounds. So here, 0.5, that's 50 cents reduction. Also 0.5. Okay, so that's your pricing. So now you have this, and then the like of age of 7. Okay, so that means they want an aged product. That's what they like. Okay, that's been there in the market for a while. They want it to be a low-priced item. Their performance and size requirements are pretty low. The reliability requirements are pretty low. And reliability is pretty, the importance that they put on this is pretty low. All they care about is whether or not the product has been aged to a certain degree. So they know that the product has been there for a significant long period of time. They know how it functions and so forth. And it's very predictable. And then the price is what most important part of it. So we have everything, all the specs that we actually need here. Let's look at the high end. The starting requirement for round 0 is 8.9 and 11.1. Okay, so 8.9, and the starting size is 11.1. Okay, and the product pricing is $40 and $30. So let's go put that in here. And then they like a price of $30 as low price. So let's look at configure this. Performance is 0.9. Okay, and the size is minus 0.9. So now let's calculate this. Also, this one going to decrease by 50 cents. And this is also going to decrease by 50 cents. So now let's configure this for the entire time period. Now we have the price requirements and everything. Here, what you will observe is that the performance ideal position is the most important criteria that they actually have. Age of 0 is what they actually want. That means they love brand new products that are new in the market. So here gives you an opportunity to create brand new products. Okay, mean time before failure is also important for them. The requirement is a little bit higher compared to the other products. It's 19% important. That means the material cost is going to be higher. Okay, the price is the least important criteria for them, only 9%. So you can charge the top bracket for round 0. You can charge 40 and get away with it. Okay, which is good, which is a pretty good sign. Okay, now let's look at the performance product. Okay, mean time before failure is the most important one for them. Okay, since this is not going to change, you offer something pretty close to the higher end in this particular one because that's the most important criteria here if you want to sell a lot of product. If you want a parity demand, you can sell it right in the middle and so forth. We'll talk more about the consequences of that. Now, 9.4 and 16 is where they are. Okay, for performance products. 9.4 is what they want, and 16 in size is what they want. And then the price requirements are $25 to $35. So maximum is $35 and minimum is $25. And now let's look at this. So what they want is +1 increase in performance, and then size, they want it to decrease by 0.7, 0.7, and these are the requirements, and the max price decreases by 50 cents, 0.5, and then here minimum price decreases by $0.5. So here we have the configurations, okay, what we now need for round 7 until round 7. Now let's look at the last product, that is your size product. Okay, so I miscalculated here, so let me erase this. Okay, so what do they want in terms of size here? Okay, they want 4.0 and 10.6. Okay, so they want 4.0 and this is 10.6. Okay, and they want maximum price of $35. Okay, and minimum price of $25, very similar to performance product. Okay, here they want an increase in performance from round to round of 0.7, and they want a decrease in size of 1.0. So 1.0 and 50 cents decrease in price. So that's going to be $35 minus 0.5, and here's going to be $25 minus 0.5. So those are your configurations. And now here it is. We have these requirements. So here, one last thing that you need to realize is that performance and size, or the ideal position, is the most important one. Age of 1.5 is the second most important criteria. Mean time before failure is also important relative to price. That means these customers are not price sensitive as much. So which is a positive thing, because you can charge, as long as you have a decent product, you can charge price that is going to be on the high end of the market. Okay. So with this, I conclude this particular video where you have your nicely created spreadsheet where you have every single attribute of your product that you require over the next several rounds. So you don't really need to worry about going back and looking at, okay, what is this particular criteria? I would just say, to be aware of what is important, what is not, in terms of you don't have to calculate, is what I'm trying to say. You have these importance won't change. They're going to be consistent throughout. So that's going to help you, with the spreadsheet in terms of what is what, and so forth. In the next couple of videos, I will go over how you should configure your R&D and so forth. That will be showing you how to utilize this particular spreadsheet while you're actually making the decisions. So this will come in handy. So I would recommend that you prepare your spreadsheet and keep it, so that it is going to be very, very helpful in making your decisions, and you can avoid tedious calculations time and again, time and again. All right. Thank you for watching this video.